Your What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Heel Hookers podcast, episode 163. We are back with an absolutely mediocre review of another UFC Apex event. It was not a stacked one coming into it, and is not the craziest to talk about coming out of it. 10 fights from the Apex over the weekend. Let's go. Before we get into all that, like and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Let's go. Yeah.
Damn, you know what's crazy that I just realized? Out of the 10 fights, 3 were split decisions.
Yep.
Yeah, 10 fights on the card, 4 finishes, 6 decisions. Like you said, 3 splits.
3 splits, 3 unanimous then.
Yeah. Start with it at the top. The reason why we were all here technically, but it wasn't what it was supposed to be. Originally supposed to be Manel Kape taking on Brandon Royval, number 1 contenders fight. Clearly, winner of that should get the next title fight, even though it was only guaranteed to Manel Kape going into it. Just crazy. It just like why is the UFC so against Brandon Royval? Like what is the difference between the level of fun of fucking Royval, Pantoja, and Figgy and Moreno that they were like, yeah, let's do this fucking 4 times, no problem, in all championship fights.
No,
You know what I don't know.
Well, to be fair, like one of those fights was because Moreno won the interim title off of Kai France.
I know, but still, they knew what the fuck they were doing. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. I understand. It is one of those things where it's just like, hey, like they've already had their what, 2 fights with Royval and Pantoja, it would have been the trilogy, and I think that's kind of what they're trying to like. Because Brandon Moreno and Figgy, that was all 4, 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So.
Yeah, I feel like that almost makes this better, is the fact that there's time in between. It's like, the first time back in 21, Pantoja finished him. Then they go to the decision where Royval looked a lot better. It's like, you know what I mean?
No,
he has 2 wins now. Just there's been other fights. It's like, why not go back? It's not like it's just immediate. And people are like, damn, I don't want to see this.
Exactly.
No, exactly. I do think like that does play a factor into like why it would have been better. But like at the same time, I do think like they were trying to get someone new in there because it has been a lot of the same in terms of like the fights at in flyweight for the past like 4 years.
The new people should be better.
I agree with you there.
I know, I'm just talking shit. I'm sorry. I like the new people too, but I shouldn't say that.
Speaking of the new people, Asu Almabayev ended up on the other side of this main event, taking on Manel Kape. It was originally supposed to be him versus Steve Erceg on this card. Then they pulled Steve Erceg from that bout to book him in the main event against Brandon Moreno for Mexico City. So then they gave Asu Almabayev Alan Nascimento, and then they were like, fuck, we actually don't have anyone to fight Manel Kape in the main event. So Asu, we're pulling you from the Alan Nascimento fight, and you're getting yourself a 5-round opportunity. And that's how we ended up with this one.
Yeah.
It just sucks too, because it was like, all right, like obviously the UFC is trying to get Manel Kape a win so he can get himself into a title fight, so they can kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which again, it's one of those things. It's still a rematch with Pantoja, so I don't know why he's some new guy that, you know what I mean?
There's
I know
been
he
a lot
hasn't had
more
a title
fights.
shot, but
well, there have been a lot more fights in between those 2 fights. In between that fight,
still,
so
it's still just one of those things.
Because it was what Kape's debut when he fought against Pantoja. A lot of things changed between that time and now.
For sure. But so yeah, trying to get Kape into that opportunity. Asu Almabayev, he was on a nice little roll, I believe 4-0 into in the UFC coming into this fight.
Yes.
Got the win over Mateus Nicolau in the one before, a unanimous decision. Obviously a very solid win, but just nothing too impressive in that one.
Yeah.
And I definitely figured Kape was going to be able to get it done. But I really did think that Asu would be able to give him some struggles in some spots, you know, maybe like get the grappling going in, you know, moments, but Kape able to just get up and whatever. But he just really didn't have anything for Manel Kape throughout the 2.5 rounds of this fight until Manel Kape ended up getting the TKO in the 3rd round.
Yeah, he went 0 for 6 on takedowns, no control time in there. Like, he couldn't do anything with that. His striking looked more panicked and just obviously not much power behind it because it was just quick shots and trying to run away, which he did many a times.
Yeah. Which with the running away, that is why at the end it did end up getting stopped, because it was the like third time of like getting hit with some big shots that he just literally started sprinting away. So at doing that too many times too quickly, it's like, yeah, the ref was like, I've had enough of it. Like, that's the end of the fight. The one thing with that, though, that definitely does have to get brought up is the motherfucking eye pokes. Because with Manel Kape, it was more of like swiping, of the eye than like actual poking right into it. But there were about 3 or 4 different moments where Manel Kape very clearly swiped at the eyes, and just, again, another fight, 2 main events in a row where it's clearly affecting the fighter. A point doesn't get deducted. Nothing's really happening. And then, with the last one, he swiped the eyes. Asu starts running away as he's punching at him. And then that's when they stopped it. So it's... I don't know. This just a lot of different feelings about this main event and how it played out, and just none of it really too great.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like, I do think that Manel was going to win either way because of the fact that Asu did not have much for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Obviously, like you said, like swiping at his eyes like affected him, but I don't think that he was going to come back with anything to have won the fight, but maybe it would have ended differently. It just wasn't that impressive, and I just don't think that a win like this, even though it was a finish, I don't know, it's especially over who it was over, it's just, you don't get a title shot still.
Yeah.
Not that Asu is bad. This was his first loss, but it's like you said, he was 4-0 with his best win being over Mateus Nicolau, which is solid.
Yeah.
But before that, his 3 wins, Jose Johnson, CJ Vergara, Ode Osborne, it's like, okay, but nothing impressive to prove that he's like this top level guy,
Yeah. And I understand that it is just one of those things. So, like, even though we do have fights coming up that are higher, that are just as high ranked or higher ranked than that, like with Brandon Moreno, Steve Erceg, it's like if Erceg wins that fight or in whatever fashion, it's like you cannot give Erceg that title shot again. The way that the first one went, like it's a lot harder than giving it to Kape at that point. Moreno wins, you got a little bit of a different story, I think, but kind of similar in that it just all depends on how he gets that win. And so it just is what it is. Like,
that's where it's hard, though, because with you saying, like with Erceg, I mean, like, in all reality, with that loss to Pantoja, like, heading into the 5th round, it was 2-2. Like, that was as close and even as a fight as it could be. Like, he really showed up in that one. Like, that wasn't like, oh, he fucking got outclassed, he shit the bed or anything, like, he was fucking so goddamn close from getting that, and like thought that he might have gotten it at the end of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, so I feel like the hardest thing with that is just the fact of losing to Kai Kara France right after in the fashion that he did, and now coming into this opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's definitely the issue.
But it's like,
just perception wise, that's what I'm talking about, is like the way that fight went, and then also after that lose to Kai Kara France, and it is going to look crazy if he does one against Moreno, and then the UFC are immediately putting him into a title shot again. A lot of people are going to be like, what the hell?
No, yeah. And it's like, they're basically everyone above Kape, no one is going to want to see in another title fight against Pantoja, you know what I mean, over him. But it's like, basically everyone above him other than Amir, and I get really Tyra because he's just not ready, you know what I mean? But I would rather see a trilogy with Royval, with Moreno, you know what I mean? Rematch with Kai. Like,
for sure.
100%.
But it's flyweight, a very weird spot right now. It seems like that they're gonna go to Pantoja and Kai Kara France for the next title fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like, with that already kind of being in the works for, I think it would be June. It's like Royval had to pull out of this one because he got injured. Don't know exactly what, you know what I mean, is going on, like when he might be back. But it's like,
it was his shoulder.
Okay.
That's why he had to pull out.
But it's like, depending on timelines and stuff, it's like, I would still much rather see them go back to Royval, Manel Kape again. Have them do Kai and Pantoja, winner of those 2 fights, fight each other. That would just be much better for Manel Kape if he was able to beat Royval, and that just way more deserving.
I agree with that. I because it also, like, it gives some of the other fights and some of the other people and contenders in this division to kind of like sort themselves out as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just and that's where it's hard to just with kind of sorting themselves out. We do have like new people coming up and kind of see where like everyone does actually place, but it really is just fucking. It's Pantoja, Royval, and Moreno at the top, man. You know what I mean? Like it's just gonna be like that for a little bit of time. So UFC is just gonna have to get fun and interesting of how they just set up people for like the fans feel like deserving title shots. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. We'll see how 125 pounds play out. Either way, it's usually always fun fights when you get the best guys in the world against each other in there. So Manel Kape did get $50,000 for this bonus for this performance, so it's I don't know. It should have gone to probably one of the other finishes on the card. I feel like wasn't too many other ones, but at least oh well. And for Sue, we'll see what he does. I feel like just go back in the rankings a little bit, fight like a Tim Elliott, something like that. It'd be solid for him.
Yeah,
Sam Tagir. Somewhere around there.
Oh, yeah. Moving on from that epic main event to an even more epic and important co-main event, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
This shit,
of course,
was absolutely all right.
It was what it was supposed to be. It's, like I said, it was going to be fun.
Yeah.
It didn't mean anything, but I was expecting it to be fun, and it was going to end in the first round. And
that's what happened.
Yeah.
4:45, Cody Brundage gets it done. TKO over Julian Marquez. That fucking up with the right hand that started it off. Just blitzing forward, a couple more shots, fucking put him down right hand. Because I know we were talking about it, like during the fight companion, but it's like, bro, the way that Cody Brundage just looked showing up to this, like, I don't know. I got to see some like older pictures and like look at him, but like his head and everything just looked way different. Like, I don't know. Like, he looked like almost a different person. Hair. Maybe. I don't know.
He also cut his hair because he used to have a bit longer hair. Not like long, but like.
I feel like it just looked like he had more of a fucking, like even more of a blockhead. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But
he's taking that shit that makes your head fucking grow.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, allegedly. I don't fucking know. But hey, if he could take something that turns him into a fighter that can go positive in the UFC, I'm all for it.
Hey,
you know what I mean?
50-50 now.
Exactly. Yeah. That's really the meaning of this co-main event. Who was going to go 50-50 in the UFC? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
That's what was on the line.
And for
sadly, it was not the now 4-fight knockout streak for Julian Marquez.
Yep.
3-5 in the UFC. Like, that's so crazy. Just started off fucking 3-1 and now a 4-fight losing streak, all by knockouts.
It's time.
You got to cut this, man.
Oh yeah, no. Like, his wins are Darren Stewart, which is
not bad.
Not bad. Maki Pitolo.
Maki Pitolo, I remember
and
him.
Sam
Not
Alvey.
a great win. Not a great win.
And then Sam Alvey.
In the year 2021, Sam Alvey's not a great win?
No. His losses.
You mean current karate combat heavyweight champion of the world, Sam Alvey?
Yeah, dog.
Yep. Also, his first loss in the UFC was Alessio Di Chirico.
Not good.
Split decision.
That's even worse.
And then
he missed weight in. Yep. He has a catch weight of 190 pounds.
Oof. Yeah.
And then losing to RoboCop, Marc-Andre Barrios, Zach Reese, now Cody Brundage.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where it's like you're just losing like that. It just for your own health and safety, like you just really shouldn't be here.
No,
like that's it's no fucking hate. A little bit of hate because of how he fumbled the bag. That's how that know he'll always be the fucking known for that. Like that'll just never stop. But yeah, it's definitely time.
It is, and GFL could get a pretty decent fighter.
He doesn't win in GFL. Moving on down to the featured.
GFL gets a pretty decent fighter.
A way more fun, meaningful fight heading into it for us. Nasrat Haqparast taking on Esteban Ribovic in a 155-pound banger. it definitely lived up to the excitement that we thought it was going to have. Ended up getting fight of the night, deservedly so. Both of them really going after it, just putting on a pace, just a whole bunch of like punches thrown. It's always one of those things that like it's so crazy when you see some like just the highest level fighters in a main event, 5 rounds, whatever, and then it's like at the end of a decision, they might have like 80 fucking significant strikes landed or something.
Yeah.
And I understand a lot of that can just be like, yeah, they're better fighters, so like better defense overall. You know what I mean? It's harder to like actually land on them.
Bro, I didn't actually even realize the numbers on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane.
Ribovic threw 436 strikes.
Yes.
He only landed 149, but still, he threw a lot. Damn.
No, yeah. Nasrat attempting 273, landing 135 total.
Yeah.
Both of the numbers were the same significant for him as they were total. Ribovic 147 to 433. So it's like, yeah, a 50% clip Nasrat was landing at, basically 33% for Esteban. Definitely not the greatest overall percentage, you know what I mean? But like you said, 436 total strikes attempted. Like, who the fuck is doing that in a 15-minute fight? You know what I mean? Like, it is not often you see those kind of numbers at all.
Ribovic, Joshua Van. That's about it.
If you did book Max Holloway for some reason into a 3-round fight, like, bro, I can't even imagine what Max would even try in a 3-round fight at this point in his career.
No, for real.
But at the end of it, real good close fight. Like I said, got fight of the night. Nasrat was able to edge it on the judges' scorecard. Split decision win for him. Just in a real nice fucking groove now for him at 29 years old. 5 wins in a row, 2 by split decision, but just very solid out here getting it done. How you guys feel about the fight and the decision overall?
I didn't pay attention hard enough to like score the, I was just like having a fun time watching them just slug it out. So can't really be mad at that. It was definitely a fun ass fight and just one of those close ones. So I'm not mad that it was a split decision. He is on a good run. And he said that he wants top 15. He wants Money Moicano.
I feel like it's kind of hard to deny the right to be able to get a fight like that. You know what I mean?
No, the one thing is Moicano is ranked number 10. He literally just took a short notice fight for the UFC to fight for the title. Obviously, I know he lost that, but he was in his own group too. He was not supposed to win that Islam fight, so I don't know how much that's really going to be held against him. Moicano might take it on some easy money, but at the same time, he might not want to risk no shit. Like, it's just not worth it for him to take a fight like that.
I also don't particularly see UFC going to that fight. I do think they potentially give like Moicano someone like a Gamrot, going back to Benny.
That's possible.
Yeah, I just don't think they're gonna do Moicano like that unless he wants to. So I'm not sure that's the one. But
if they're gonna go, if he is gonna be in the top 15, I think they might go him versus Grant Dawson. Because Grant Dawson, no one doesn't care. No, they don't care about him, but that is a hard fight for Nasrat. But it's one of those fights you need to have when you're going into the top 15. I think Grant Dawson will be a great especially with you having like fighters like Gamrot, Moicano, Armin, Oliveira, and Islam in the division. You have to have that type of grappling fight to see where you're at. And I mean, thing is, he could go in there and sleep him like Bobby Green if that's possible. He does have the power to do it.
No, yeah, like honestly, you saying that, I really do like that fight for him a lot. It it definitely is a rough style fight with the grappling, but overall, like 84% takedown defense overall for Nasrat in the UFC. Like, he does have very good takedown defense. Last person to score a takedown on him was Dan Hooker, and those were COVID times. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things. But it's like, he's not out here giving up takedowns a whole lot. Been taken down by 3 fighters in his UFC career. Definitely doesn't fight the most grapplers overall, you know, but he easily has that dog in him to put it on Grant Dawson in a way that he will not like. And that's a really good fight. I do like that one because, like you said too, just Grant, not a big name, not really cared about by the UFC, so is going to be that guy to give the opportunity someone coming in that doesn't have as big of a name, you know, as maybe like a Terrell Alvarez, Daniel Zellhuber type, you know what I mean? Someone that's a bit more exciting, more fun to the fans.
Yes.
So yeah, I definitely would like that fight for him. That'd be very solid. But yeah, just great fight overall. Just fucking both banging it out. Definitely deserved that fight of the night for sure.
No, 100%.
Hell yeah.
And for Esteban, 28 years old too, also still very young, 3-2 in the UFC, lost his 3-fight winning streak, but no shame in that. Just a very solid fighter. Has to definitely just tune up the defense a bit and probably a little bit better footwork, just not being so stationary in front of his opponents to be there as hit as much, but he can definitely tie some things together in his overall game to really become a player in this division.
Yeah,
no,
he's tough
100%.
as hell, so he definitely has what it takes, just like you said, just needs to tighten it up a bit.
Yep. That's it, man. But hell yeah. Great fight between them.
I was just looking, I'm like, man, him versus like Ishmael or like Jared Gordon would probably be a good place to go from here.
I feel like he kind of fucks up Jared Gordon pretty bad, honestly, and that's a rough fight for Ishmael, and I don't like that.
No, I get it. I'm just
that would be a good one. That would be a fun ass fight, though. Ishmael Bonfim and Esteban Ribovic, goddamn.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no idea where he's going to go.
It's always hard to match make someone who's like outside the top 15, but also like 3-2, and then there's like, you gotta think like, all right, he should probably take a step back, but like, how far, like, where is that step back actually going? Like, how far back do you take him?
Because you also never know when the UFC is going to be like, let's give this guy like a look good fight too, because there are times where they do that and it's like, oh, I didn't expect them to do this for this person, but okay, so
giving him like Jamie Malarkey next or something,
Oh God. Don't even fucking put that into the whole. Why? What did Jamie Malarkey ever do to you? Like, what? What? That's fucked up.
It's about to happen. I hope you know that.
That's so fucked up. Oh, God.
What did he do to me? He's Malarkey.
That's just mean, man. Moving on down the card, another split decision result in this one. Just quite surprising for me as well, honestly. I did not think that the fight was going to go this way.
It's funny because I said it right before, or like right as the fight was starting, because I had the thought with Haider Amil getting the split decision over William Gomis. The curse of the undefeated did not apply to him last night, but it was just one of those things where right before the fights, looking at William Gomis's record in the UFC, he was 4-0 headed into this. He had the one finish over Yanis Gamori, who I think, what is he, 0-2 in the UFC, getting finished in both of them?
3, something like that,
whatever. His other wins are a majority decision and 2 split decisions. He has, like, in the UFC, he's never been able to win a unanimous decision. He is constantly in close fights. And just thinking about the way Haider comes out crazy, like the one thing I was surprised is I thought it would have been rounds 1 and 2, not rounds 2 and 3 for Haider. But he just has that, I don't know, I guess he just has that dog to keep going. I thought that he might gas a little bit, but he did not. He just put it on him and enough to win the rounds. And I just had a feeling he might, because he is very explosive and he does do a lot. Like, we always make the jokes of his fucking 1 TKO, but it was like literally a 48 punch combo for a standing TKO on that guy. He might not have dropped him, but bro, like,
just going,
doing a lot. And with Gomis constantly in close fights, I was just like, I wouldn't be surprised if Haider could kind of edge it out. And then it happens.
No, exactly. That's a big thing. Like, and that is the thing. Like, when it comes to winning decisions, like William Gomis in totality has won more split/majority decisions than unanimous.
Crazy.
It is crazy that's how it goes, but that's what happens. And I don't know. Like, I think, like, and I remember mentioning this like halfway, I think through the second, when we were watching on the Fight Companion, that I think William Gomis with this fight and like why he gets so many splits is because it's the same reason why like Angela Hill believes she was losing so many split decisions, where it's just the body language, the way that he moves, the way that he like evade, like he just looks like he's, 1, getting hit, but 2, like the shots are affecting him way more than they actually are. And he also just always looks tired. Like, I think the body language is playing a factor into this, where it's actually looking like he's getting hit by things that he's not actually getting hit by, or he's looking more hurt than what he actually is. So it just is what it is. But
no, And because I really thought that Gomes was just going to be like a couple levels ahead and couple steps ahead in the striking, where he was going to make it look pretty easy, being able to stay on the back foot, just moving around, getting out of the way of the big, like, powerful barrages, and just like easy decision win. I really thought, but like you said, just Hydermeal, like, really putting it on, and like just that pressure and the fucking willingness to go. It's like you said, like, if anything, I thought it would be like the early rounds that he was going to win and then start to slow down, The fact that he was able to put the pressure on Gomes, making him have to work so much, and then like Gomes just started to fade into the second and third, and like Hyder just kept on going and going and going. It's like, bro,
it's like looking at the numbers. Round 1, Hyder threw 56 to Gomez's 62.
Yep.
And then he threw 89 to Gomez's 71.
Yep.
And then he threw 117 to Gomez's 72.
Yeah.
Like, he just kept picking up that pace, landing more and more. Like, and I was talking about throwing, but even to the landing, like, he was just getting more and more accurate with it, landing more shots, and
it's like.
And then he went 1 for 2 on takedowns in round 3.
Yeah. And it is funny because I remember, like, I was somewhat trying to score this fight, and I had it Gomes 2-1. And that was just because I thought Gomes was landing the cleaner shots throughout the whole fight and was just able to essentially, like, kind of control, like, what was going on. Even though he was getting pressure, that's how he fights anyway. He fights a counter fighter's fight where he is going to be moving around and being more on the back foot than getting pressured. And he did land more in the first, in the second, and I thought they were also the cleaner, more effective strikes. It just is like not the way it looks when you're watching the fight.
For sure. And it's like, with just like you said, the numbers constantly picking up for Hyder. It's like there are not a lot of fighters that, like, just especially on the way up, like, you know what I mean, that are able to do that. Yeah. Him improving to 11-0 in his career. I know, like, talking about before, where it's like he is 34 years old, so it's like he does not have a lot of time to really get, like, the best work, like, out of his physical prime. But it's one of those things too where it's like, 34 years old, but he is also only 11-0. It's not like he has fucking 20, 30 plus fights, where he's been grinding out his body. So it's just like, one of those things where age and stuff can always just kind of play a little bit of a difference in, like, a fighter's career. But it's like, do you want to see that kind of effort of being able to pick it up, like, over the 3 rounds, like, especially going into potential 5-round fights? It's like, give, like, him moving up, like, potentially throughout the division, and, like, what does him in a 5-round fight look like? Like, does he keep on picking it up and going because his opponents are getting tired, and he's like, fuck it, I'm just going, like, it. Very interesting. Only 3-0 in the UFC, like I said, 34, but I'm very interested to see what he could potentially do at the higher end of this division, for sure. This was a very solid win for him. I'm very impressed, honestly. It was good for him.
Yeah.
Let's go. Great fight at 145 pounds there. Last fight on this 5-fight main card. Second undefeated fighter to talk about for the night, and he did lose his O. Yes. Danny Barlow taking a first-round knockout loss to Sam Patterson at 170 pounds. Barlow was just going after him, putting on some good shots, like they're just getting into some good exchanges, and then it was just that fucking right hand just clipped him, had him hurt. Sam Patterson just put it on him, and he was fucking done, man. Wow.
Yeah, no, just insane. Like, was not what I was expecting at all. I
thought it was going to be Danny Barlow knocking him the fuck out like that. Like, it's like, someone that's undefeated, that has... Obviously, he doesn't have, like, the most fight experience. He was 9-0 headed into it. But he has multiple knockouts. The guy that he's fighting, his 2 losses are by knockout. It just wouldn't have been surprising that it's like, he's going to get another knockout, obviously, But he is on a really good run because, he made his UFC debut at 155. He got knocked out by Yanel Ashmus. I guess it makes more sense now because he is 6'3" with a 78-inch reach and had no business being at 155 pounds. So he was probably dead in there.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy fucking height and reach at welterweight still. Like, you're fucking still at the high end, Like,
yeah, but now on a 3-fight winning streak, all first-round finishes.
Yep.
Pretty solid. Yeah. Obviously, again, no one, like, super notable, but it's just one of those things where it's like, let's see what he can do with this division.
No, for sure. Definitely making some waves for himself and Sam Patterson, and then only 28 years old too. So like, definitely has time to cook.
And the one other knockout loss that he does have, he It was at 155 as well, and his opponent missed weight by 1.2 pounds.
Nice.
Now, he weighed in at 156.5, but really, does that matter when your opponent also missed weight?
Yeah. But yeah, so
he fought an amateur as a welterweight a lot. I wonder why he moved back down to 55.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're just trying, just have whatever advantages.
Anyway, random thought.
Yep.
Moving on.
But yeah, just main card overall pretty solid, not too bad. But yeah, just one of those things. Just a lot of the fights not too interested in, and then with just like the main event and then how it did, just kind of like okay.
Yeah.
Prelims though, we did have some all right things going on. Also only had 5 fights on it, like we said, only a 10 fight card. I know for me, the prelim headliner, in Mario Pinto, a 9-0 coming into this fight against Austin Lane, which obviously not a good heavyweight in Austin Lane. Mario also
which is exactly why he did exactly what he should have.
Yeah, 26 years old, very young. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure so many people are probably going to criticize him because 1, it took to the second round to finish Austin Lane, and 2, he got dropped in the first round by Austin Lane. 26 years old, extremely young in the division, young in his career. You can tell that he is a patient, thoughtful boxer and just striker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He got caught trying to, with the head movement, trying to evade Austin Lane, landed a real good right hand catching it. That was just real good work from Lane to be able to catch him, got him down, and just right back up, still within everything. But just the patience and the consistency and just, what I mean, putting it on Austin Lane, I just really did like that from just his UFC debut. Wasn't some just, I'm a big guy, I'm going to fucking go out there, swing, punch, I knocked you out, look at how good I am because I got a 20-second win, Like, it was fucking calm, cool, collected, looking for the specific shots, and then he ended up getting it in the second round. I very much like that from him.
Yeah. And I understand, like, the what you're saying with the patience and all that. I do think that a little bit that can potentially play against him when he starts fighting other fighters, and I do think like it is still a valid criticism. Like, I don't think like criticizing him for it taking to get into the second round to finish Austin Lane is a valid criticism, but like I do think like the patience, it can be detrimental to him later in once he gets further and further into this division, because it's all depending on who he fights, all that. Like, if he fights someone who's a grappler, we still need to see what his grappling is going to look like against the higher levels of competition. So who knows what that looks 100%. Like. And then, just the patience can work against him because he did get caught. Like, there are fighters who I can see catching him who are a lot more powerful than Austin Lane, who are going to be able to put him down and be able to just jump on top and finish him from there.
Yeah, and it's like, because he did say just like, Austin, just a very tall, long guy, and he is very big, even as a heavyweight. So just one of those things, just catching him. But it's like, even if someone like not even as tall or long, and like you said, being stronger, but like just technically more efficient to be able to catch that easier. But like, if he is gonna like try to be patient, he for sure needs to have better footwork, so he's not standing right in front of them to get caught.
Yes.
But yeah, those are definitely the my 2 criticism. It's like, the patience, and he did say that he wanted to be patient, and it's like UFC debut, and it's just good, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
get kind of the nerves out during that first round. You got hit, kind of woke him up a little bit, because I do think, if I remember right, after he got dropped, he was a bit more active after that, and then obviously in the second round got the KO with the beautiful counter. Yeah, beautiful counter right hand when Austin Lane was countering the jab. He came in with the left hand and then like used that to measure out, and then just boom comes over with the right hook.
Yep. Yeah. So definitely very interested to see what he can do at heavyweight, if anything. Still extremely early to know. Other than that, though,
we need someone.
What did you like on the prelims that you want to bring up? I know there's not too much to get into, but
I don't know, Chepe Mariscal and Ricardo Ramos, I guess. That was a solid fight.
Yeah.
It just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm not sure what they're gonna fucking do with Chepe, because he is 5-0 in the UFC.
Yeah.
He is on a good run. Like, I don't really know when they're finally gonna like give him that push up, you know?
Yeah.
Like he was supposed to fight Dan Ige last summer, but then that was when Ige pulled out to fight Diego Lopez on a fucking 2 hours notice.
Yeah.
And then since then, they gave him Damone Jackson and Ricardo Ramos, which obviously like solid vets in there, which is crazy because Ricardo is actually still only fucking 29. But just obviously just someone with a lot of experience, like 14 fights in the UFC, you know. So like they're good. It's a good direction for him from a Trevor Peak, Jack Jenkins, Morgan Charrier. But it's like, when is he going to get that step up? Are you finally going to give it to him, or are we going to watch him fight another guy like this, you know, where it's, again, solid, but...
I think the step up is going to happen here. And personally, it won't be top 15. Like, I don't think that, but someone who's right outside that and who's just in it very recently, Edson Barbosa. That is a really fun fight, and I really am interested to see how that goes, because like it's also good. It's a barometer for how good is Kape against, and how will we can kind of gauge how he'll look against top 15 with that. But it's also a barometer for Edson Barbosa. Where is he truly at right now in his career, being as aged as he is within the division?
No, for sure, that would definitely be a good one.
Yeah, it just that all depends, because I know Barboza was supposed to fight Garcia 2 weeks ago, but he had to pull out for that. So with his age, I don't know if it's an injury, how long that might take. But
I do like that though.
But it was just but it was just a really solid fight from him, and like I said, he's just on a great streak, and I would like to see him get a real bump up.
No, for sure. Because it's like, you're just, like you said, just where, like, all of these guys, like, no one's going to be like, oh, like, this is the best win on your resume or what, you know what I mean? But it's like, just fighting all those very consistent, solid guys. And it's just one of those things where it's like, like, you obviously know he can win at this level. So it's like, what, you're going to just grind him through that same level of, like, 3-4 more fights, like, until he just loses because of a bad night, you know? And, you're not deserving of that, you know what I mean? But, it's like, 5-0 in the UFC. Like, it's just like, 32. It's not like he's so old where the UFC is like, oh, fuck him, you know? Like, just, where are you at? Definitely would like to see a step up for sure, too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And Ginger, I don't know if you got anything else that you feel like bringing up on this.
Not really.
You don't want to talk about Andrea Lee's 6-fight losing streak?
I'm glad she's on a 6-fight losing streak. It's time to cut her.
Yes. Ramazan Temirov opening fight on the card, got a unanimous decision win over Charles Johnson.
If no one else brought it up, and I figured you would.
That was going to be probably the only one I was going to bring up, but Charles Johnson.
The only one to bring up.
No, with that, like it's kind of the criticism that I had for Mario, but like it's happened multiple times with Charles, like where he is just like kind of too patient, doesn't do enough, and that's why he loses these unanimous or split decisions. He just isn't doing enough throughout all the rounds, but he thinks he is, so he doesn't push it, and then just ends up. He did push in the third round, I will say that.
Yeah, because I do think that it's just one of those things where, you know, it's like, you never know where guys are exactly at, and, you know, and obviously him just being on a good run, thinking that he should be having a step up, and now he's fighting a guy that this is his second fight in the UFC. It's like, just Temirov, just you could tell like his strike with like a suit, you know, of just like, oh, that striking wasn't there or you know, and like the grappling wasn't there. It's like 1 and 2, like him moving on the back foot, circling real good, coming in with big powerful shots. Like I feel like he did just have that style perfectly to just really give Charles Johnson a lot of problem. And then attempting the grappling round 3, you know, like
because I was gonna say it's like Charles picked it up round 3, but I think that mainly came down to Temirov maybe slowing down a bit too, and just getting a little bit more tired, because he does have a lot of finishes on his record. You know, he's been to decision 7 times, but like his more recent fights have been first round finishes. So it's just like, you know, his last decision was 3 years ago, where it's like, I wonder if, you know, he may be expected to get him out, or just, you know. But definitely 1 rounds 1 and 2, like you said, a great style for someone like Charles, and he just did what he had to do. A young guy coming up. Let's see how fast they push him into a fight he shouldn't be in.
Let's go, 125 pounds. Woo!
I was about to say,
but
him versus Kai Asakura is fun.
Oh my God.
See what I'm talking about? Like, that's that dumb shit. Like that.
What the fuck?
It's kill or be killed, man.
Oh my!
He can knock him out.
God. That's the UFC card from the Apex this Saturday night. Let's go. Oh my God, you just don't want any new prospects in this division. Last things for this
Durden.
card. Yeah, there you go. Cody Durden. Give him that.
Damn.
There you go. That's better. Tapology results. I finally broke my 6-week streak of getting second place. The 7th UFC card of the year. Jim Bob pulls out in first. All because of the Manel Cop Perfect. Really?
Yeah, we were tied the whole time because we essentially had the same picks, and if we didn't, like, if we chose a different round or whatever, we probably just got the fight wrong.
The only differences we had were the way that the main event and the first fight on the card ended.
Okay.
And Charles Johnson lost, so it didn't matter. So it literally came down to the main event. But yeah, so was able to get that done. Ended up getting first in the group overall too, with the 2 perfects in the main and co-main. So that definitely was very nice. Kate coming in second though, very nice. Ginger in third. Last Tapology. Good results. Nothing too crazy. It's fucking.
I think the better result was Ginger did not get a win in the draft this week.
Yes.
Asu took the loss, which means Ginger went 0-1 for the week. Me and Jimmy did not have fighters.
Oh yeah. So next week, pretty sure I got 2 fighters. Kate has 1. Ginger has none. So.
And y'all are going 0-3.
That's fucking crazy.
That's not happening.
What the fuck? Joshua Van losing to an undefeated fighter in 2025. Don't see that happening. But let's go.
It's gonna happen. Carlos Leal's getting knocked out.
Yeah, fucking
by
right.
Alex the Great White Morono.
He's bugging.
What the fuck? The dude that should have just beat Renat.
And
Carlos, who's never been knocked out.
And Lemos is subbing Lucindo.
Is that? He's never been knocked out?
No.
I thought he got finished in the PFL by someone.
Nope.
I guess I'm wrong. Okay.
He's gotten subbed once.
Yeah, I wonder if you're thinking that wasn't in the PFL. That was way early, regional.
I wonder if you're thinking of the DQ that he has on his.
I don't know. Either way, though. So yeah, draft. I'm still at 5-0. Kate at 5-1. Ginger 4-3 now.
Still positive.
Still positive, but you're inching closer. Inching so closer back to negative. Let's see how that all plays out. Normally, we will talk about the fight news on the previews, but, not the greatest review, so we got some fucking stacked out fight news to come at you. It's been fucking good the last few weeks. Let's hit you with it. First thing up, UFC 315, May 10th. We got a fight at 125 pounds. Jessica Andrade taking on Jasmine Jasdavicius. Top 10 ranking implications in effect.
Head to head with me and Ginger as well, right?
Yeah. I forgot about that. His first head-to-head draft matchup in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like, draft shit aside, I really do think that Jasmine is probably going to be able to get this done.
I mean,
the reason why I say so is because obviously Andrade is good.
Yes.
But she has been doing not so great at 125 and definitely a bit better at 115.
Yes.
One of those fighters that, she's not old. She's only 33, but she just has a ton of fight mileage on her. She has lost by finish more times than she has decision. Like, just one of those just kill or be killed type fighters. Like, obviously it had a bit more decisions in her last couple fights, but that means nothing.
Yeah.
And then you have Jasmine, who... she has a couple finishes, but she can definitely win a decision. She's only lost 3 decisions in her career. She is on a great streak right now. And she's just much bigger than Jessica. So I don't know if she's going to, like, how much Andrade is going to be able to do against somebody that is willing to be physical in there with her. I don't know if Andrade's going to be able to back her up. I don't think she's going to be able to get her out of there. I think we're going to have a fun-ass fight, and Jasmine's going to win the decision or potentially finish her because Andrade can get finished.
Yeah,
because it's like 5'1" with a 62-inch reach to 5'7", 68-inch reach.
No, yeah, and I feel you on that. I get it.
I did not realize. Like, I knew that she was obviously taller and longer. I really didn't realize it was fucking 7 and 6 inches.
Yeah.
Oh,
like I definitely understand where you're coming from, and she can definitely get this done. It is just one of those things where Andrade can always just pull out a win. It just always Like,
she's dumping her on her head like she did to Rose.
That's what I'm saying.
Rough.
Like, I know she can, and I just give her way more of a shot at 115 than I do 125.
No, yeah.
Because it's like she's just so easily outsized at 125 by certain fighters, and especially a fighter like Jasmine, you know?
Yeah, and I get that. It is just one of those things where she has been fighting women bigger than her whole career as well.
Yes.
The only one who really like made it look bad was Erin Blanchfield? Like where it really like felt like, no, this is she looks small, and it just isn't being as physical.
No, yeah, but I do think that it because obviously, yeah, like you said, has just been doing better at 115, and I feel like it's one of those things where it's like we've been talking about how good 125 pounds has been getting as a division, and it's like just the overall skill level and stuff. Like 125 now is entirely different from the days of her fucking one punching Caitlin Chukagian and Cynthia Calvillo for fucking a number one contender spot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
it is so different. So it's like, yeah, I do think that it is just getting way better, and I definitely, when it was first announced and us talking about it, I had way more faith in Andrade, but just kind of rethink about it. Yeah, Jasmine probably does just kind of just go out there and fucking big sister her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like oh my god, I'm gonna be sad about this.
Yeah, I really don't like the fight for Andrade.
Yeah,
no,
gonna be rough. Let's see how that plays out. Like I said, UFC 315, May 10th in Canada. Huh?
I was really thinking she was going to be fighting 115 this year, at least for her first fight. I wasn't expecting that.
She's so back and forth. I can't guarantee
just
nothing.
One of those fighters where it's like I will never even attempt to act like I know what the fuck she's doing, planning or gonna. You know what I mean? Like no point in even trying to act like you know.
Yeah.
Next fight also on the UFC 315 card. I don't understand why they're just so determined to not give Jose Aldo a Legends fight and just make him be the gatekeeper to 135 pounds. I mean, he has a pretty damn good one, so I understand it. But Jose Aldo taking on Ayman Zahabi, also UFC 315. Fuck. Tough fight for both of them.
No, yeah.
I feel like Ayman probably gets it done just being just younger, better, just a very solid fighter coming up.
He's barely younger. He's 37 years old.
Yeah.
Damn, is he 37?
Yeah, he's old.
I keep forgetting that he's that old.
He is an older.
I thought he was 35.
It's like he's on a good streak. He's definitely solid, but I
thought he was like 35. Honestly, I didn't think that he was 37.
No,
But yeah, it's still a rough fight for both of them, though, for sure. Let's see how that one plays out.
I think it's rougher for Aldo because Ayman will play that game of put you up against the cage, trying to take you down, and Aldo is kind of shown in his last couple that he's content sitting there.
Yeah.
Maybe with losing this one, though, he'll, because he beat Jonathan Martinez and then he lost the split to Mario. I wonder if that'll help him kind of be like, I can't do that.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Let's see how that plays out. Fight March 29th, Mexico City. We got C-Rod taking on Melquizael Costa, making a quick turnaround after his first round win over Andre Fili, I believe that was.
Yeah.
C-Rod ain't getting a fucking up and comer, undefeated, fucking not tested guy. You know what I mean? Like it.
So he's gonna lose.
Has actually had a couple fights. He's fucking had some solid ones. He's had some rough losses, but he's fought some very good fighters. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So
he's positive in the UFC at 3-2.
Yeah, so I just definitely interested to see how that one plays out, see what C-Rod's able to do.
No, yeah, for sure.
No, yeah.
Another fight, Mexico City, was supposed to be Daniel Zellhuber versus Elvis Brenner. Now going to be Daniel Zellhuber versus Austin Huber. So upset that we lost that.
Yeah, and then on top of that, it's like this fight announcement is made, but there are a lot of rumors circulating that Daniel Zellhuber is now injured and the fight just might be canceled altogether. Nothing official yet, but yeah.
So we'll see how that one plays out, but that definitely does suck if we lose it all together for sure.
Yeah.
And just still sad that we lost fucking Zellhuber versus Elvis Brenner. It's like I'm happy for Brenner, but I'm
happy for Brenner, but also even Daniel Zellhuber because it's like he's tough as hell, but just he lost the split decision to Esteban. If Elvis was looking healthy, like who knows what type of war they might have been in. I was kind of happy, like what, maybe this could be like a nice bounce back win for him,
Very
and
fair.
Now if he is injured and we just lose it, I'm like, damn, that sucks, Zellhuber.
Yeah, they're both just gonna get recover from whatever, just rebook it later in the year. But yeah, see how that one plays out. Next one, not as meaningful, but I love GM3, so I figured I'd throw it in here. GM3 taking on Brad Tavares April 5th. Just should be a solid scrap, you know what I mean? Just two old vets at 185 pounds gonna go out there, fucking sloppy back and forth. I don't know if Brad's gonna be like just that bit better on the feet to knock out GM3, or if GM3 is able to fucking drag him down and get a sub. But it should be some sloppy fun on that. More than likely Apex card, I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
More than likely. What is that on the Apex card? I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Gotta be on.
Almost 100% sure. Next one though, May 31st. We got a fight pretty far out. Dustin Jacoby, he is back taking on Bruno Lopez, 1-0 in the UFC. Just seen this one, and it's like, I know Bruno Lopez isn't like, just some hyped prospect or anything. Dustin, not the biggest name, but I was just like, damn, kind of surprised one fight in the UFC and you're getting a Dustin Jacoby fight.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Like Dustin's been around for a while. Yeah, just knocked the shit out of Vitor Petrino, who was like up and coming guy, and now like you said, gonna bring this guy in.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, I'm just kind of interested. I was like, I know Bruno Lopez like looked very solid, came from Contender Series, I'm pretty sure. So it's just like,
Lost his first Contender Series fight, getting knocked out by Brenson Ribeiro.
Okay. But yeah, so just a interesting big step up there. So it's like, let's see what the fuck happens.
No, yeah.
You know what I didn't realize about this next one?
What?
Because it's Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree.
Oh yeah.
So much has happened that it kind of like right over my head that Jamal fought on 311 and got finished by Yuri like a month ago in a week or so. You know what I mean? Like a month and a half ago. And now he's fighting in 3 months?
Yep. April 26th, 5-round main event. Jamal Hill taking on Khalil Roundtree. Khalil coming off of his title loss to Alex Poatan Pereira. And as you said, Jamal coming off of a knockout loss in the 3rd round to Yuri a month ago. This will be about 4 months out from the time that 3 months out.
3 months.
Yeah, 3 months out from the time that he lost. Is definitely making up for that lost time of the injuries and trying to get back in there.
Yeah, but that's not the way.
I don't really think
Roundtree?
So.
It's funny. The only reason I say it's funny is this was exactly what they were doing when they first booked Khalil Roundtree versus Poatan versus Jamal Hill, because he just had got knocked out by Poatan in April. And then was fighting in June.
Yep.
This is all on Jamal Hill.
Yeah, that is actually the same exact time everything. Yeah, like literally just doing it again. So yeah, if he's feeling ready and just wants to come back, I mean, it could easily be now 3 knockout losses in a row for him after fucking losing his title, trying to get it back, which would really fucking suck. But yeah, it's gonna be a fucking great fight for as long as this lasts, though.
Sure is.
1 to 5 this round could get finished in, and I don't think it's going to a decision. So let's see how it plays
neither
out.
do I.
Boxing versus Muay Thai in that one. Let's go.
Yeah, I was about to say, give me a
fight.
Yeah. This next one won't go as much into it because we will be recording the next podcast after this and be talking way more about it because it was supposed to be Justin Gaethje taking on Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker pulled up to a fucking show with a real big fucking mid of a hand on him and was just like, yep, I'm not fighting. And yeah, Dan Hooker broke his hand. Fucking everybody was putting their hands up there trying to get themselves a short notice fight with Justin Gaethje, a big opportunity. You had Fiziev, you had Moicano.
Gamrot.
Yeah, Gamrot. John Silva.
Armin offered as well. The only reason that he said he was told because he asked for 160 because of the short notice nature of it, and the UFC said no.
Yep. So yeah, had a whole bunch of people putting their names into the hat. The one that gets picked is motherfucking Rafael Fiziev, which I am so fucking happy for him because it's just like this dude has been trying his damnedest to get a fight in this division for so fucking long.
No, for real.
It sucks that it's short notice against Justin Gaethje, who is preparing for a fight against Dan Hooker. So, like much better scenario for Gaethje coming into this. But yeah, what a fight for this rematch.
Yeah.
Happened in London of, what was that, 23? March 23? I believe so.
What are you talking about?
Their first fight, March of 23.
Oh.
Fiziev and Gaethje, I believe, was in London. And so now 2 years later, looking for that rematch. I believe so, right? Because I know September of 23, he lost to Gamrot.
Yes, it was Edwards Usman 3.
Okay, yeah. 2 years later, pretty close to the date, I'm pretty sure. Gets that rematch against Justin Gaethje, short notice. Let's see how that one plays out.
I didn't even realize Marvin Vettori Romadeliza was also on that card, so we have 2 rematches from that card going on.
Very nice.
That's funny.
Really funny. Yeah. They say if you ask, you shall receive. Oh, fucking Christ, man. Christ is precisely the word to use for this next matchup because he is going to be needed.
Bryce is about to meet him.
Oh, fuck. Bryce Mitchell versus Jean Silva.
Yeah.
I know what Bryce said was fucked up, man. I get it. I really do. This is not how you go about it. This is not.
But he wanted this, yo.
It's not.
He wanted it.
Said, "Let me get Bryce." Bryce said, "You're not the Lord. I'll give you a country ass whooping." Here we are.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that Jean Silva is going to go out there and knock him the fuck out.
Mm-hmm.
But I am just curious about the wrestling. You know what I mean?
Yes.
This will obviously be like the best wrestler, grappler that he has fought since being in the UFC. Now he is 4-0 now, so this is just a nice step up within the featherweight division because obviously he fought Drew Dober 155.
Rough.
It is, but I still think he's going to knock him out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Yeah. Crazy.
This just isn't how you
to do the
Bryce's
fight,
mind, but whatever.
Yeah,
it's fine.
And I got it. So.
Yep. Absolutely terrible. You have ruined the rest of the life for Bryce Mitchell Ginger single-handedly. Let's go.
Single-handedly.
Never recover.
Moving on, though, 3 more fights to talk about. May 3rd, Des Moines, Iowa. We got a fight at 135 pounds. The UFC is trying to allow Cheeto to do right by the fan base and get an absolutely vicious knockout against Mario Bautista for doing the crimes that he did against Jose Aldo in his last fight. I am just not sure if that's going to happen in a 3-round fight against Mario Bautista, a very smart, solid fighter coming up.
Decent amount of 135-pound fights on that card.
Yeah, fucking Figgy Corey headlining it.
Yep, and then you also have Montel Jackson versus Daniel Marcos on that card. And Cameron Smotherman and Sari City on there.
Yep. Montel Jackson and Daniel Marcos was one of the last fight announcements that we were announcing too. Just another good fight on that card for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I hope he can get it done. Yeah. I really do.
Same.
Yeah. I really don't know how that one's gonna play out, honestly.
I
feel like initial thoughts. I think I'm leaning towards Mario, but
the thing is that 3 rounds is plenty of time because Cheeto does have a lot of third round finishes.
Yes.
So he can do it again.
We shall see. Last
and
fight,
Marlon doesn't. He's not content staying up against the cage. He will try to get out of that position, reverse it. Whether it works or not for him is a completely different story, but he will try to work out of that position.
For sure. Last fight to announce, heavyweight bout. Very interesting. Was not expecting it. I do actually like it, and I'm very interested to see how it plays out. Sergey Spivak got himself a fight against Shamil Gaziev, UFC Qatar, May 17th. Also thought it was very interesting seeing that UFC is officially going to Qatar, so they are hitting fucking goddamn all the major countries out in the fucking Middle East to go and host events. So it's a big heavyweight fight. Top 10 implications.
Yes. I don't know what to say about it because Spivak's one of those guys where I feel like it's the top of the division he has troubles with, but I feel like he can beat anyone below him for the most part.
Yeah.
So,
which is why this is definitely a good test for Shamil, but it's also if you threw Shamil into a 5-round main event with Jar Jar in his second UFC fight.
Yes.
You give him Dontel Mays and Thomas Peterson, and now right into top 10 at Spivak. It's just
Yeah.
They're not really giving. I mean, I know it's hard with heavyweight because there's not many people there, but there's not much of like a nice progression for him. It seems like, hey, you're going to win or you're probably fucked. Like,
yeah.
I definitely feel like, because one of those things we're just saying certain divisions where, you don't want to kill off people and stuff. And like, but I feel like with heavyweight, you kind of need to like actually build people. And like with some fights, it's like they should have done like a Shamil versus Waldo. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
well, when you only have 30 fighters in the division, like, 15 are ranked, 1 is the champion. You have 14 outside of your rankings. That's it.
No, yeah. So that's where it's like,
there's a reason Talented Teixeira is ranked.
Yeah. So we'll see how that one goes at heavyweight. I don't know who I'm rooting for. I feel it's like I always want Sergey Spivak to just get better, do good, look good. So like I would definitely be nice, but it would just be good for Shamil Gaziev just maybe actually getting better, able to get some good wins just to mix up into the top of the division. So we'll see how that goes.
It's one of those things where this fight, I feel like it would have made more sense for like Shamil versus like Marcin.
Yeah, that probably would have been better, honestly. But yeah, we'll see how all of that plays out. That is the last of this stuff for this episode of the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will catch you previewing UFC 313 Las Vegas, Nevada. Powhatan taking on Magomed Ankalaev. Let's go. Peace out, everyone.
Peace.